Hey, folks, and welcome to the Daily Ratings Podcast. It's a show where each week we're going to be sitting down with Vincent Daly to get his thoughts on the latest movies he's been watching, both older films and new releases. And don't worry, there's no spoilers. Vince will give a brief review of the movie, share some thoughts, and of course, then rate the film. The daily ratings are always fair, honest, and most importantly, they're consistent. On today's show, Vince will be rating and reviewing. We are finishing that Howard Hawks unofficial trilogy with Rio Lobo from 1970. We're then covering from 2023, The Dead Don't Hurt. That's directed by our boy Viggo Mortensen. And then for the new release this week, we are covering Evil Dead Burn. And that's directed by Sebastian Vanacek. So let's get Vincent Daly in the room, hear what he's got to say about these films. Stay tuned and enjoy the show. Mr. Vincent Daly, how are we doing across the table, my friend?
Thomas, how's it going?
It's going okay with me. How was your week of movies? How were your two Westerns, the new one? What was it like?
I was excited to watch both of these Westerns, even though this the Dead Don't Hurt slot was kind of undecided for a while.
Yeah, it was the last minute, yeah.
I was looking through the last minute, and I think I told you on the phone or over text, originally I was kind of eyeing up Giant with James Dean.
Yeah.
One of three James Dean movies. It is a Western, so I was like kind of interested in it. And then I saw it was like 3.5 hours. I was like, no. We got the Odyssey next week?
Yeah,
no,
seriously.
I'm not going on the pre-Odyssey, you know? So yeah, I mean, The Dead Don't Hurt landed on this week's list, folks, because it was the rare treat to actually circle back on something, no less with our boy Viggo. He's directing, he's writing, he's acting in it. So really, really happy to kind of circle back with that movie. And not the end of Westerns. It's going to be the end of Westerns for 3 weeks in a row.
We'll pick it up in August.
We'll pick it up. It's always got some spillover. You know, John Wayne July.
It's
you know,
okay.
John Wayne June doesn't work. He needs July.
We really need all summer is what we found. So, but next week is huge. We want it to be such a Nolan week.
Yeah,
it's special. It's a Nolan movie, and it will be. It's going to be one of the biggest episodes of the year for us, no doubt.
Yeah.
So that's going to be very exciting. And then we have a couple other weeks planned after that, and then Spider-Man, and then in August we can kick back with get our spurs on again.
Yeah, because there really are like a lot of these Westerns, weird early Westerns. I'll go to the list real quick.
It's a strange list. I love it. But
listen, I'm excited by it because it's like these are Westerns that I've heard of sometimes, but like for the most part, I really just want to see. Winchester 73 from 1950, a Jimmy Stewart one. My Darling Clementine, 1946. It's John Ford and Henry Fonda.
I mean, these are huge films. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of them.
You never heard of My Darling Clementine?
No.
Really?
Yeah. The Shooting from 1966. Jack Nicholson, just a straight up Jack Nicholson Western. It's like, what? He did Westerns? There's just so much that I really do want to get to because these are just movies I'm really interested in. One that I've picked out, or a pair that I've picked out when we get back to it in August, I think is probably going to be a Kirk Douglas duo. We have The War Wagon with John Wayne and Kirk Douglas.
Yeah.
He also does a movie called Along the Great Divide from 1951 to kind of pair them together.
That'd be great. Be great. Oh, gosh, I wish I could license that band song for it.
That
would be perfect.
Divide.
Well, I love that. I mean, I told you over the weekend, you've been circling War Wagon for a while.
I know.
I mean, it was a little bit. We got a little nervous here after the Rio Lobo thing. I mean, Vin hadn't even watched it yet. He was actually about to sit down and watch it. And I called him trying to figure out if he got a second movie. And then he was like, "Well, we could do Chisholm. We could do maybe the War Wagon this week. What do we want to do? Throw in another Wayne." But I mean, I'm glad we did the Dead Don't Hurt. I've been wanting to watch this since it came out.
Yeah, I forget why we missed it.
We missed it because it came out and no one talked about it.
It came and went. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think it wasn't supposed to make the biggest splash. It's just smaller Viggo film. This is the second film technically that he's made.
But still impressive that he's directing, writing, and starring. You know?
And the fact that Viggo goes to Westerns. He's a cultured man. He speaks like 5 languages.
Right.
He's lived all over the place.
This is a cultured Western. It's more a period piece than Western.
That's what I expect from Viggo, though.
Yeah.
And she's got our gal Vicky Krieps in there, which we will forever love.
Yep.
Basically, especially after Phantom Thread. So,
sure.
No, I'm really glad you pulled the trigger on that, pun included. Any alternative titles? Anything you want to talk about or anything like that beforehand?
No, I don't have internal titles.
Trailer talk.
Well.
Not to drag you into it.
Not to drag me into it.
Well, there's 2 that came out, technically, I believe.
Oh, okay. Well, get me up to speed then.
Okay, well, I believe in the past week, maybe the past 2 weeks, but the new Dune trailer came out.
Oh, yes. I saw a tiny bit of it. I've scrolled away every time.
Okay, yep. I haven't clicked on a single Dune 3 thing.
Yep.
And I will not, unless, unfortunately, we have that mix-up at theaters.
Yep. Yeah. I've also seen just like a lot of screen grabs doing like side-by-side comparisons to Lawrence of Arabia. I have half a mind to cover Lawrence of Arabia in that episode.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Because apparently that is like what Villeneuve's like main inspiration is here with that.
And you can see it in 1 and 2.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Very true. A lot of sand.
I had a great, but just in the visual spectacle of it, and the size and the scope, and yes, the sand.
Yeah.
But I was so happy to have seen it. It was between Dune 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Just happy to see because there was a re-release in theaters. So the fact that I got to go see Lawrence of Arabia in a theater, I love that.
I know. That always impressed me. You just kind of like had it out of nowhere. It was great.
Yeah, AMC was doing that thing, so I absolutely love that. But the trailer I want to talk about, that a movie that I'm like, spoil it for me, I don't even care. I want every image I can get from it, every new second that you want to show me, I'm in. But the Alejandro Iñárritu Tom Cruise film, Digger, an extended trailer came out for it.
Yep.
One thing I'm glad at, I still, we might get the beats of the film, maybe, but 1, it's Alejandro, so you don't really know.
Sure.
And 2, I'm so excited. This did the job that the trailer is supposed to do. I can't wait to go see Digger.
Yeah.
I'm like so pumped for it. It's
Absolutely.
Insane. Tom Cruise looks great. I think we actually might get a good acting performance here, which is phenomenal.
Yeah. Also, like, just way more of a satire than I expected. We knew this was a comedy kind of going into it.
Yeah.
And kind of unsure where that was going to land. But just, like, really feels like almost like a Mickey 17, where it's just, like, very absurd, very eco, spin to it.
I would more so, I would hope, because you're right. You're not wrong there.
Yeah.
I just hope maybe we don't go so Mickey and go more, why can't I think of the Kubrick film? Oh, my gosh. The bomb movie, George.
Oh, Dr. Strangelove.
Yes, I hope we get more Dr. Strangelove vibes from. Thank you.
Agreed.
For pulling out that one out of my head. But no, seriously, I mean, I think the prosthetic work looks good on Tom. We'll see what he get from him. So far, I like what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I do too. He does look good. I was worried as well because so much of the original trailers we weren't really seeing Tom Cruise's face.
Yeah.
It was a cowboy hat and him like dancing and
kind of
like
silhouetted almost.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll see. I thought you were going to bring up more Odyssey controversy. Because there was a final countdown trailer. I mean, everyone, on the internet's like, is this going to be a flop? And it's just like, enough.
The way I look at it is we're seeing it. We're seeing it and covering it next week.
Yeah.
We can have all the tea we want. It's going to be a longer episode, so maybe we will have tea. We'll talk about it then.
It's gonna be a long movie. We're gonna see. Yeah.
So I know I'm pumped.
But that also was maybe like a third real big drop this week. That the final trailer was, and I mean it was. The internet's been a buzz of just like how much negative
for
press,
the Odyssey.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. That this trailer has received.
I stayed away.
And all the kind of compounding with stuff that we've slightly touched on in episodes past of just like people are upset from a historical standpoint, people are upset from like a culture war standpoint, people are upset because, they can't see it in the right IMAX format.
Yeah, right. And yet still, the reviews so far, I believe, are pretty overwhelmingly positive.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's where it's like, I have no doubt this is going to be good. People thinking that this is going to be a flop because of like public backlash of any degree is like ridiculous.
It won't be a flop. But the question is, I have had my hopes so tamed down for this for a year and a half. Mm-hmm. So it's fine. We're going to get what we want, or we're going to get what we get.
Yeah.
And that'll be that. And we'll talk about it for as long as we need to next week, for good or for ill. So, But no, okay, other than that, we ready to get going?
Yeah.
Okay, so last week we covered Rio Bravo, El Dorado. That was 1959, 1966. 4 years later now, we're in 1970 doing that final Howard Hawks film, Rio Lobo.
Yeah.
I would like to just start with one thing before I pass it to you.
Yeah.
Because I've been talking about the whole Tarantino thing.
Oh,
Tarantino
right.
has this quote. He really likes Rio Bravo. Mm-hmm. So let me just start with a quote from... I mean, this is at least what I have from the Wikipedia quotes, at least. But
okay, right.
So Quentin Tarantino on Rio Bravo. He called Rio Bravo his favorite hangout movie, and he once said that if his date does not like the film, there will be no relationship. So Quentin really likes Rio Bravo. Now,
well,
El Dorado. Quentin Tarantino cited Rio Lobo as one of the reasons he wanted to have a short directing career.
Oh, wow.
Quote, the most cutting-edge artists, the coolest guy, the hippest dudes, they're the ones that stay at the party too long. They're the ones that make those last 2 or 3 movies that are completely out of touch and do not realize that the world has turned on them. I don't want to make Rio Lobo.
Wow.
So... That's
very interesting.
That's the setup for 1970s, rated G. It is the shortest out of the 3, which like I said last week, they get progressively shorter, which I like. And it's an hour and 54 minutes. Of course, I watched this, John Wayne starring, Howard Hawks directing. You go ahead, take it up, set it up. We'll take it back and forth.
Well, our last of the Hawksian trilogy. That was my vocal stem for the weekend. Hawksian. Folks, if you didn't listen to last week's episode, which might be a fair share of people, this is our 3rd time our director is kind of structuring the story loosely around the same plot beats, alongside, of course, the Duke himself, John Wayne. After seeing this story so many times now, I think I am happy we split it up.
I told you last week. Yeah. I told you.
Not only was this the most different in its kind of initial setup, but it did give me time to reflect on like where Hawks has been refining things, where over a decade of kind of shuffling the cards, reshuffling the pieces on this story, where that works better, where that doesn't work so good. The script does take some unexpected turns, which I didn't expect, leaving me genuinely confused on where it lands compared to the other 2. And I think that week break really helped me make up my mind on where it lands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the script elements, almost everything else about this movie is refined, dialed in, you know what I mean?
Rio Lobo?
Yeah. Almost everything else, I feel like the format of what he's going for over these 3 films, he's slimming down, and you see that in the runtime, and you kind of see that in how different things are introduced, whether it be the town or the gang he kind of brings together. The script falling short, I did not expect. I feel like it's like a loose wire here that just kind of didn't make sense in comparison to everything. So... For the meantime, Rio Lobo is a Western that at first takes place in the Civil War, but then spills out into the continuing late West, with our characters intersecting once again. We open with Confederates gearing up for a train heist on a Union gold shipment, this being the 4th successful robbery to come from this outfit. John Wayne plays the Union Colonel Cord McNally. He's always got some decent names to the characters in these Hawks films.
They're doing well.
Yeah,
in most of his films, really.
Yeah. And when he's captured by these kind of Dixie brigands, it reveals that a rat within his ranks, within his troops, is leaking out info. But before you know it, war is over. Countless soldiers go on to continue their lives, while Wayne stays on the trail looking for his rat and picking up travelers, all heading to Rio Lobo. At the town, a crooked sheriff is posted up and abusing power, and wouldn't you know, Wayne's man Ketchum is tangled up in this mess, leaving the gang with a handful of desperate plans to turn things around. What I also, just to kind of elaborate on even just the summary, while it's hard to summarize Rio Bravo and El Dorado, and this one had the most like going on, where it's just like, and we're ending up in the sheriff, you know what I mean? We're ending up in the town, and it's a holdout.
But I told you last week, this is this is kind of the biggest one.
Yeah,
you could say. Yeah.
Definitely has the most scope to it, and like I said, there are some things that I'll praise as far as the construction of things.
Okay.
I think it is the thing I'm conflicted with is that the praise and my criticism of this movie all kind of connects to the script, because certain aspects are slimmed down and kind of refined, but the actual dialogue in the script is what I had a problem with.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm starting to think, you know, Howard Hawks, he's a pretty cool guy. He's a pretty cool guy. Kind of seems like Howard Hawks gets it, you know? You're watching this movie, and especially El Dorado, and it's just like, man, this Hawks was kind of cool, and he probably is.
He is cool, by the way.
You know, he's, you know, coolness boils down to, do you get it or do you not get it? No qualifiers beyond that. It's like, all right, Hawks gets it, you know? This has a cool intro scene with the guitar, not to mention a real kick-ass movie poster. I love the movie poster.
Doesn't it say, like, go get him, John?
Yeah, no, go give him hell or something like that. Yeah, it's like, hell yeah. The opening train heist is pretty awesome.
Yeah, not bad.
Talk about starting on a high.
Yes.
Really surprising, very flashy. I won't spoil it because it's like, it really is something to look at, but like how they set up this, you know, this scene and how the feeling of this model train or whatever they use, the stunt train with it.
It's a pretty real train. Look at what life like.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Talk about connective tissue for next week. I mean, this is just Nolan's plane in Tenet. This is the this is the big set piece.
This is the big set piece. He just front loads it. Yeah. And you know what? It's pretty cool that Hawks keeps on putting the hottest women alive in his movies. Like, I don't know what's going on here, but it's a cool move, you know?
Sure. I wish you could act, but it's a good move.
Right.
In ways.
Unfortunately, the acting, a little stinky here. As far as like Hawks and this rule of cool and even like what I kind of alluded to last week of like him making these movies, competing, whether he's inspired or not, but competing in the spaghetti western transformation that happens in westerns. I think there is a scene that like really like drove that home. It's the introduction of Deputy Whitey Carter. Short scene, 41 minutes in. This scene I like loved. I loved in this movie.
Okay.
It's so the way the menace is communicated on screen. Spoilers: Whitey Carter doesn't make it out of the room alive. You know, so it's like, you know, it's not like he goes on to be a big villain for the movie. It's just got like, it's got the vibe I want out of these westerns.
Wow,
it has the menace. It has the coolness. The soundtrack sounds ripped right out of the Dollars trilogy. Like, it has everything I want out of it. And I kind of wish that same scene was replacing this, you know, 2-bit villain character and replacing it with our main character, or kind of laying the seeds for later on in the film. From time to time, Rio Lobo does hit some peaks to it, especially in its first half, and draws me in to kind of want more out of it. The second half, these moments become sparse, and I'm just kind of left scratching my head with like the crumbs left behind, you know?
That is for sure.
Yeah. So as far as the main issue I have with the dialogue, one of the more interesting or odd feelings to the film is found in like the relationship between characters. There is a kind of an unexplained camaraderie between soldiers on both sides of the Civil War that I just kind of can't make up my mind on. Granted, the war is wrapped up pretty fast, so it's not like a main problem I had with the film, but this quality defines the tone for the whole runtime. There is a plucky tone to every character interaction.
Right. It's much like, hey, war's over. Oh, so we're friends again, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's not how it should be.
Yeah. Even while there's a scene where Wayne is captured, and it's so plucky and smiley, and it's like, this, I don't know, it's kind of interesting from the perspective of like, hey, these were like brothers in the Civil War, you know, that type of line of thinking of like they're you know, they don't necessarily want to fight each other. At the same time, it robs stakes. It robs the bite of, you know, any kind of tension here between the soldiers, and especially after the war.
I think it's safe to say that this movie out of the three has the least bite. Yeah. The least grit to it in any way, for sure.
Exactly. So there's something there that I was just looking at, and I was like, can't really make up my mind on this, because I could see someone saying like, oh no, that's actually kind of authentic, you know, for the time or something like that. But yeah, I couldn't make my mind up. Where do you land on it?
No, I would have loved it if it was, no, it's not like, well, war's over, we're buddies, let's have a drink, which is kind of what happens. Just no. Yeah. You know, there is a thing to be had when I mean, we'll get into the film and my main thoughts on it. I do like the first half an hour, and when Wayne has that and he's a little bit captured or whatever, there's that thing of mutual respect. You've got me on this one, but we're gonna have that's fine. No, but the buddiness of it and the cutesiness of it, I don't need it. I don't need that.
Yeah, it was very plucky. It was the nitpick is everyone's too smiley in this.
Right, exactly,
and,
for sure.
Even though they're on the same side a lot of times, it robs something from the interest I have for this. So, but yeah, I think that's the main misstep that's going on here. Largely, I think Jorge Rivero is miscast as what was previously, I would say, it's not 1-to-1, but as far as big supporting performances, Robert Mitchum in El Dorado, Dean Martin in Rio Bravo. Just like it's more, I would have liked a more typical Confederate sounding anti-hero, maybe a little bit rough. This also feels like his casting is a byproduct of Hawks putting in the most attractive women possible because he wants like kind of these like soft like love romances throughout the film.
Who's our good looking man?
And I really mean that. Like everyone in the town they go to in Rio Lobo,
once again, beautiful.
like
It's beautiful.
The loneliest, There's a point that Jorge Rivero is pulled into a random house. He
goes in to hide.
Yeah, he goes in to hide, and turn around is just like
a naked woman.
Yeah, this woman is like trying to hook up with him. I'm just like, wow, this is unreal. It's unreal what's going on here. I think like more of a romantic co-lead is a byproduct, an unfortunate byproduct of putting all these attractive women in here.
I don't like him in this role at all. I don't like her either. I think they're both bad actors. I think they don't deal with lines well. I think for whatever reason, each one of these films gets worse with ADR. So Vin brings this up once in a while with films, but as far as a lot of these older films, especially, basically a lot of the talking on screen at times, it's really all just done in a studio, and then it's overdubbed from what they were acting. I gave 2 Shoes and 2 Laces to El Dorado last week. It's not because it was a perfect film. I do think John Wayne is maybe a little bit too old to be still playing one of the fastest guns in the West.
Oh.
And I also think that the ADR, specifically with James Caan scenes, took me out of it. I was just thinking about it a little bit.
Okay.
This is out of control with George Rivero playing Captain Pierre. It's so off. It doesn't sound good. I was thinking about it constantly, but just the dialogue, the audio quality of the dialogue is really rough. And then when you have that on top of bad acting and weak actors, it really sunk the film for me. Not to mention that this film is sloppier. I find it to be lazier. I find it to be, let's just do it for a third time.
Interesting.
We don't quite have the budget, or we're not expecting the biggest turnout on it like we did before, so let's just kind of get this done. Yeah, I don't appreciate that. And let's be honest, in the first one, we had Dean Martin playing, Borden Chone was his nickname, but we had him playing the dude.
Yeah.
We also had not Kenny Rogers, but I'm so sorry, forget the young musician's names. But we had the guy playing Mississippi.
Yeah.
Then we had James. No, Colorado. Then we had James, and then we had James Caan playing Mississippi, which James Caan was a presence on
100%
in the movie, and now we have like George Rivero just doing bad acting with bad script with bad ADR, and on top of that, no one really cares who he is, and then like he gets the nickname Frenchie. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just not, nothing about it is as strong. The woman is just as beautiful. She's great. She can't act her way out of a paper bag. And it just set the whole tone. It set the whole tone.
Yeah.
It really bummed me out how bad the script was, how bad the bad script was delivered in the line delivery. Then the ADR made it even worse. And on top of it, it's not even like, like if Frenchie was Dean Martin, at least could be like, well, at least I'm seeing Dean Martin on the screen. But I'm getting this guy that I had no attachment to. And maybe, sure, it's how many years. It's been 70 years, I get it, or 75 years, but I don't care about these guys, so can you at least be performing better, and we don't get it.
Yeah, true. And you bring up a great point as far as, like, Mitchum and Dean Martin. There is nothing anywhere close to as, like, the gravity of the main scenes that you get with both of those performances. Yes, they are a rehash of each other, But for one of the things to be cut being the meaningful alcoholism arc to one of John Wayne's companions in this is a shame, because those were undoubtedly the best parts of both of the last films.
Whether you deal with the drunkenness or not, what you're really craving for is like, can I get some depth from this guy?
Yes,
he's the number 2 in the film.
Yeah.
In fact, there's one other person, literally one person in the film other than John Wayne that I enjoyed seeing, and it was the kind of the right-hand man to George Rivero's character. He was a younger blonde guy.
Yes.
That's Christopher Mitchum, Robert Mitchum's son.
Yes, yeah.
And it's just like, of course he's the second most charismatic in the film. Like, no shocker there.
Yeah, for real. But yeah, there's a big misstep, and I agree with you. It's just like the whole thing, acting-wise, a little stinky, unfortunately.
And John Wayne, it's 1970 now. John Wayne only acts for 6 more years. He's aged.
Yep.
Or he's aging, and on top of that, this is starting to get. There are some westerns that feel too much like of era. So John Wayne's got the sideburns a little bit going. They're dressed more in 70s cowboy clothing.
Yep.
And it just throws me off. Something about it is
really?
It feels like 1970 when you're here. And it didn't quite do that with El Dorado. Didn't do that with Rio Bravo. And,
definitely not Rio Bravo.
It just reeks of 70s. That whole polishing and glossiness that I just can't sink my teeth into. I really think it's second-rate, third-rate stuff here.
Interesting. I think some of that I do like, just because westerns as a genre, I like a little bit of camp to it. It's the spaghetti western vibe.
Okay.
It's the fact that all these women have crazy eyeliner on. You know what I mean? Like, it's not one for realism. I'm not one that I want like ultra realism out of my western. I want kind of a cartoonishness to it, but this had just not in the right direction. I do think, going back to what I was saying about, I think Hawks and team are refining certain elements of it. I think like this probably does have the best construction of the final shootout crew out of all 3 of our films, which is why I wanted to like this movie. Wayne collects this posse very naturally. Each character has their own drive to be there. They're not just kind of like following Wayne with. So I feel like that construction of it, and that being the core of what really ties all of these 3 movies together, that might have been at its best. Not saying that the individual players were at their best,
right?
But it's where I wanted to really like this.
Right, when
movie.
you zoom out 10,000 feet, there's beats that you can really appreciate.
Exactly, or at least an approach that I see like, okay, there's a refinement. They understand what works in the previous ones, but at the same time, I just can't shake that this didn't really grab me. I don't want to say boring exactly, but unfocused in parts. And Tom, if there was going to be a alternate title for this week of movies, it is Unfocused, because of our new release this week. We're going to go ahead and give Rio Lobo 1970 a 51.
A 50? That close to Rio Bravo, huh?
I think
very
so.
Good, very good.
I think so.
I'm done with this film. I don't need to ever see this film again.
Wow.
I was
This is the rare...
annoyed watching it. I mean, I was giving out
the south of 50s.
I was. You. Oh my gosh, yes.
Really?
I'm not saying flip flop, but yeah. I mean, I don't like this movie. I cannot tell you how much it starts with the script. Really false. I think it might have been last week or whatever. We were talking about this recently.
Yeah.
And I said this has the potential, or so close to being a really good movie. But it's not. It isn't. And it's actively, in my opinion, a bad movie. I don't want people who maybe want to give Wayne a try, or I don't know, do Curious. This will turn them away, and it should.
Yeah.
This isn't giving John Wayne a good platform to do his thing. These characters are. I don't like the way they're written. I don't like the way they're acted. I don't like the way they're performed. Again, we're having even technical issues, in my opinion. And even third characters like C kind of cast that even come in late. I mean, there's a famous character actor here named Jack Elam, or Jack Elam. He plays kind of the drunken dad who's crazy and beady-eyed and whatever. Yes. And it was just such a cartoon, ridiculous character, and having him being so ridiculous, acting alongside Wayne, I'm just disgusted with the whole thing. This guy Jack, he oftentimes play. I mean, he's in multiple episodes of The Rifleman.
Yeah,
plays a good bad guy because he's got those beady eyes and everything, and he typically like is in henchman role of the bad guy. what they do. They do him dirty. I really am not a fan of this film, and it angers me knowing what we get with Rio Bravo and El Dorado. It angers. I told Vin on the phone, I said I was so, I don't even know what word I used, but I was just so annoyed immediately after Rio Lobo ended. I had to just turn on Chisholm as a palate cleanser because this came out in 1970. Chisholm came out in 1970.
Yeah.
I watched it for a bit, and then I turned on Red River, and I'm just like, oh, please, how do I mainline this film? Just like get the juices flowing again.
Thank God, Hawks is a good director.
I can't.
It shook your faith in him.
I can't for any reason really tell anyone to go see this.
Wow.
Or to turn it on. It's actively going to ruin everything that you don't want ruined. Howard Hawks, John Wayne, whatever. Again, the story's there. I like the first half hour. You're just like, what are we doing here? I'm okay with this.
Yeah, I mean, not to be
okay.
not to. I mean, I love that you're digging into this. I do think there are aspects there, like again in the first hour, that are working. They just don't really like pay off in a good way.
And then you have the second half of the film, which isn't working and doesn't pay off.
Yeah.
Actively frustrating. Thank God it was less than 2 hours. I'm so annoyed with the movie. So close to getting it so right, and just not at all.
Wow.
So that's it. That's what I have to say about Rio Lobo. I'm done with it. We're done.
Listen. I think if that's a new Tommy Two Shoes, I'm done with this one. Not exactly a flip flop. I think I'm glad that you got that across because. I think in ways, not that you would have just like blindly defended a John Wayne film or anything like that, but like I think aspects of the dialogue, the pluckiness of it, I could imagine someone maybe defending it, but I just knew it wasn't work for me.
The script is weak.
Yeah.
With dialogue, just like the script is so. I'm like, this sucks.
Yeah.
This is not at all to the heights of Rio Bravo or El Dorado at all.
Yeah.
It shocked me because it's 4 years later.
Yeah.
We got Hawks coming in with the same team, basically.
Yeah, basically.
So it's just, man, it really, really hit it hard in that first half hour, 40 minutes, and then the drop-off was, it was mind-boggling and utterly frustrating and annoying and disappointing. Disappointing in a lot of ways.
Wow, disappointing.
So the fact that you gave it a 51 is unbelievable.
Yeah, I think...
Unbelievable.
You make me kind of think back on it now.
Also not surprised the way we roll, but with
I do. Yeah, right. I'm definitely contrarian with my Wayne, my John Wayne ranking so far. This isn't as severe as like an Alamo or anything like that.
No, but that's in the right direction. That's that's great.
Right. But I think that 51, it just comes from the fact of just like there are aspects here that, especially watching the trilogy here, I see where they're working slightly better. And I think it is a factor of like I wanted to like this film. There were enough aspects here.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I really did want to like it. I wanted to like the coolness of Howard Hawks.
Of Howard Hawks, yeah. Okay, so that's that. I will say, even just some nuggets in there that you were talking about, I think we should absolutely cover War Wagon, which seems like it is for sure on the list.
Yeah.
War Wagon, I think you're going to... I'm excited for you to see that.
Okay, cool.
Because that has stuff in here that normally you might not... I don't know. Finally, we're covering it because you've been curious about it for a bit. Okay, that's a 51 for Rio Lobo. I'm not giving it 2 shoes. Maybe
I'm done with it.
I might throw it on there in a year or something like that if I feel like I need to put the stamp on it. But we're definitely circling 1 shoe, 1 lace for sure. There's no 2 shoes in this picture at all.
I think it leans, if anything, more towards the flip flop because again, you wouldn't watch it ever again. You wouldn't recommend it.
It's close. I know, but
that's.
I think that's where the John Wayne aspect comes to it, where at least like I have some type of like life raft to tether myself to before just the sea swallows me whole in just mediocrity here.
Yeah.
All right, that's that. Okay, let's jump to 2023, much more modern. And this is on, if you want, you can rent it on Amazon, but I was watching it on Paramount for free because it's on Paramount Plus. This is The Dead Don't Hurt, directed by Viggo Mortensen, like we said. Main cast there with him acting alongside our lead female and basically lead role.
Yeah, she is kind of the lead.
In Vicky Krieps' character playing Vivienne. So, Vin, I don't know if a lot of people know about this. I'm glad that we covered it. Really glad that we both got the chance to see it finally. The Dead Don't Hurt. Set it up, and let's talk about it.
The rare treat we get to circle back on something so recent, missing this one in 2023. My interest in plucking this out were a couple things. Obviously, performances for Viggo and Vicky starring in this. A romance-driven Western I think was interesting. I did not know until like notes phase that Viggo was directing and writing here.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No.
Did you think he was just acting?
I think he was just acting. I was just like,
Oh,
that's
wow.
kind of cool. He's doing a Western.
I can't believe that.
Yeah,
Okay,
no,
all right.
did not know that.
No.
And if anything, one of the main kind of picking criteria was looking at Rio Lobo and saying like, all right, this is like slightly Civil War. What can I pull from this? And what do you know? Once again, we get like a kind of Civil War setting as the side focus in this.
Yeah.
So it kind of pairs nicely with Rio Lobo. So always looking for that cohesion.
No, connective tissue. We're always looking for it.
We always want it. The Dead Don't Hurt, or as I saw on Amazon, just listing it as Dead Don't Hurt.
Yeah, watch out for that one if you're
Yeah.
if you are doing Amazon.
Yeah. It's mostly a romance drama in a Western framing. I would say this is probably more feeling like a period piece than the genre entries we've had this month, or even historically on the podcast. We opened the story with Olsen, played by Viggo, who is burying his wife Vivian, played by Vicky, morbidly in front of their young son Vincent. Folks, if you want to know why I was sold on this movie right here, you put a character with Vincent in,
He's in.
I'm in. You got me right there. No, but a very sad scene, a very, very morbid scene. I don't mean to crack a joke with it. During this, the two are visited by the town banker and mayor, letting on that Olsen has a life beyond what we know him for, or what we're kind of introduced to him by. This visit, however, picks the scab on Olsen's history with an outlaw named Weston, now on the run while the crooked town pins his crimes on someone else. But throughout the film, the real meat of this story is flashing back to Vivian's memories, both in her upbringing and, maybe more importantly, the spark of romance with Viggo, as their history is playing out for us in reverse. Vivian's life has been bookmarked by death from men in war, and death from the kind of uncaring West around her. But how her memory stays with Olsen will hopefully change him for the better, especially when feeling so much anger and rage. The film's definitely slow, but I think thoughtful in a lot of ways. I'm curious most of all to get your temperature on this. But I feel like the story's reflections on violence and how death is inevitable in this time, often kind of quicker than it should be, that all was a lot of more substance than I expected. Then you have this romance piece, which I think was pretty great, especially because we have two main leads that I really enjoy seeing on screen in a romantic capacity too. But I'm curious to what your thoughts were on this.
Well, I think it is a very small story, and it is 2 hours and 9 minutes. So we are kind of sitting with them a decent amount. I kind of look at this where this isn't a classic Western by any means. So it's more really is a period piece of just this era in this part of the country.
Right.
And I kind of like looking at that because it is very focused on the relationship and her story of how we get here and how we both end up in this spot in the States. So I was along for the ride, even though the ride was at times kind of slow, not very sprawling, not very big, a lower budget film in ways. I was okay with it. It's really hard for me to love a film like this.
Okay.
But I'm not. But it's also hard for me to sit here and pick it apart for whatever reason because I really like Viggo in it. Of course, I love Vicky Krieps in it.
Yep.
So it's all good as far as the story goes. Do I like a bigger Western and do I like more Westerny things? Cowboys being cowboys.
Yep.
Sure. This just isn't that. It really is more of a period piece.
Yep.
With some classic Western elements to it.
Exactly.
A bit.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to walk away loving this, but I enjoyed the film.
Yeah. I think for me it was the flashback structure that was satisfying.
Well, okay, so let's really talk about that because I break it up into 2 kind of ways. We get true flashbacks of her and just her story because it really is her story in a way. But then we also get time jumping. And I'm still kind of jury's out with me as far as how I actually liked it.
Okay.
Some main things happen right away that you see, and now we're time jumping a little bit, and we're in the future, and then we're in the present, and we're in the past, and then so I like getting her backstory as far as going back in time and seeing her bring up, and why maybe the feelings that she has and everything. The actual plot jumping around, it made it more. I don't know. I guess it made it easier to deal with the runtime, but I'm still out of. Maybe I would have liked to actually see this just chronologically. I have to say, yeah, and I don't know where I land on it.
Interesting. I found the flashbacks satisfying.
So not too revealing. Not like, why'd you show me this?
If anything, because I'm with you. It gives like big things right in the beginning, but I liked how the flashbacks then continued to kind of like reveal complications in the story. Whether they are kind of setting up a thing and saying, well, that's going to go wrong. So we kind of wait for that to happen on screen. But there was something there that I enjoyed, the messy complications that happened in the story rather than it kind of playing out all at once. Even to the point that I'm with you, though, that do we really need the opening scene being her being buried? You know what I mean? That could have been maybe rearranged a little bit.
Well, here's what I was almost expecting.
But I like the complications of that overall.
And I think that's where I'm landing. The only thing is it's just that trope of you have something serious happen, and then you go to the flashback, and it's like, 3 years ago. Or it's just like,
they are wild.
You already gave us the end. Why do we care now? But you're right. And I give credit to Viggo with writing and directing this, where the way he structured it was actually pretty methodically and interestingly done.
Yeah,
where
absolutely.
It wasn't that old basic trope where it's just like, why would you do that? Why would you do that classic thing? So I think I'm leaning on the positive side of it.
Yeah, there's something to it that I found it kind of satisfying.
Good.
But there is a knife's edge here because I feel like this is going to be a movie that a lot of normal audiences would call just like straight up boring. Throughout the film, we get these flashbacks through Vivian's memories, but there's a degree of like, I don't know if it's always great that it's from her perspective. I kind of would have liked maybe a split of these flashbacks of Olsen's perspective as well. A good example of this is Olsen signing up for the Civil War. Something I'll admit kind of maybe is a little bit frustrating not seeing some action connected to, some hardship even.
It really tells you that it's not his story.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's where it like drives home, where it's just like, no, this is she's the main character with that. And in a good way, not like in a Maestro way where it's like, wait, what?
Yes. Absolutely. Yes.
But kind of narrows that focus. Nonetheless, I think that's for a lot of people might strike them as boring in a lot of parts. For me, it did work just because performances are what's driving this, and a complicated story is going to be better for those performances, and especially the romance too. Those acting performances, I do think, are great for the most part, especially the romantic beats between the two. This might as well have been Phantom Thread in a Western,
A little bit, yeah. I mean, it's kind of awesome.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, Viggo's pretty different than the main character in Phantom Thread, but there's a similar vibe. Maybe it's all Vicky.
I think it's Vicky a lot.
Yeah, it's all on her shoulders.
Because she's difficult and she has that confidence to her.
Yes.
Yeah, she's got that no bullshit thing. And
exactly.
Yeah.
And that cascades through the story of just like, this character is now making interesting choices, when hit with conflict and whatnot. I think that's, if anything, the main hook for the story. We can't talk about it really for spoilers, but like Vivian makes a decision that is very serious in how she continues forward with her life. That's a decision all of her own that then kind of Olsen kind of comes back to. So middle of this movie, I think, hit a stride just being actually cute. You know what I mean? This isn't like a dusty romance in a dusty genre like a Western. Like, this is like, there were some really like genuinely good, cute moments to the romance. And again, part of that is how the story is delivered to us, but each of these characters does have a lot of depth intentionally unexplained. Viggo's character has these blocked memories that are kind of revealed time to time in other characters referencing them. The bartender is a good example of Vivian goes to get like a job at the bar or at the saloon, and he's like, "Oh yeah."
He made the cabinets back there for me.
Yeah, Olsen is a good carpenter. It's just like, what is Olsen's real story? That's kind of left wholly unanswered in ways, but I found that interesting once again. That it was like, this is a complex decision kind of made within the storytelling.
Yes,
not one that just kind of lays out and is predictable. So
the thing is, I don't really feel like we ever get to sink our teeth in anything but maybe what Vicky Krieps has going on.
Yep.
And that is a thing. Again, it is over 2 hours, so that boringness, I'm not going to say the boringness didn't set in. It did a little bit. Now I was sitting there watching it, and I was in.
Yep.
But we don't get a lot of detail in really any other direction.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the flashbacks are from her perspective only, which, again, probably would change the film pretty drastically, but especially for the kind of the unanswered. He goes off to the fight in the Civil War. We don't see a single scene around the Civil War.
Yeah.
So I feel like that is an aspect that like I was a little bit frustrated by. I think also a lot of audiences could be frustrated by. I'm just like, wait, you're not going to show me that at all?
Right. Give me some juice here.
Exactly. So. Sadly, I think the one area of the movie that didn't work for me and kind of was an unexpected quality, the times that our villain was on screen. Our main villain, Weston, played by Solly McLeod. I guess he's in House of Dragon. A bit cartoonish, and I know I'm just getting off of Rio Lobo saying I want spaghetti western, I want bad guy, I want twirling mustache,
Not menacing enough.
Not menacing enough, and I feel like he stuck out so poorly because everything else was so grounded. Everything else was like, I almost couldn't describe as a western because it just felt like two lives in the 1800s. He felt like a cartoonish bad guy in black and spurs in a bad way, in a poor way that meshed with this.
Yeah, okay.
The performance, weak. He wasn't menacing. It's the rare instance that I didn't like a bad guy. You know what I mean? It's a shame because he's really central to the story when Olsen goes to war. So especially for how serious and dark this becomes around his involvement, having this like hyena performance from the actor was just something that did not blend well for me.
It didn't blend well. No, I think that's a great way to put it.
Yeah. It was too much like no one was a nut job. No one was a cartoon up until this point, and he's like the only one, and that's where it stuck out bad.
It also has to do with me where we don't sink our teeth into anyone else, where we could have had some great other. You think of the Coens and what they do so well with just bringing in other characters that just have a life of their own. We just don't get much. Everything's a little bit too flat. So we could have just hung around you wanted more of the war. I did kind of want a little bit more Western beats in town.
Yeah.
And make it and fill it out a little bit more. Give me some more Danny Houston, our boy Garrett Dillahunt. Well, oh sheriff, we just missed him.
Yeah.
I thought he was good. I could have used more from him a little bit. Even the bartender I liked, but everything is just so touched on.
Yeah.
And the only real thing that that Vigo gives us is the bad guy being so stereotypical.
Yeah.
Not
a good casting. It sticks out like a sore thumb. And yeah, I mean, to say back to back that I will praise spaghetti western aspects and the cartoonishness of what the genre can be, and then to say no, this guy was too cartoonish. I mean, I'm not trying to sound like a hypocrite, but it's just like in the right scenario.
Yeah,
exactly. It's the wrong puzzle piece in the works here. And yeah, I mean, where there was depth in every other part of the film, this was just something that I needed to almost see a match and focus that made him the third lead. You know what I mean? I needed to see a focus on him as a villain that was as fleshed out and maybe as unanswered in ways that we have with our other two leads. But I would say a really solid effort from Vigo, directing, writing, and acting.
It was a pretty looking film. I wish it was shot on film. It was shot on digital, but it's some good directing here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which I like to see from him.
And I don't think it was a case where we've talked about sometimes of like the actor, writer, director, like juggling act, especially the acting piece.
Some music too, by the way.
No, he did music.
I think he's.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's very involved in this one.
Vigo, chill.
Yeah, he's billed as the composer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so 4-part juggling act. We've commented in the past of just like that can doom.
Oh yeah.
Especially the acting piece of that because it's just like there's too much that needs to be dedicated to the acting side that gets diminished. Not really a case here. So I think a real solid effort.
Yeah.
I'll be keeping an eye out for his next time in the chair and hope he's able to get that chance again real soon. We're going to go ahead and give The Dead Don't Hurt from 2023 a 66.
Okay, a 66% is a pretty damn good score. Folks, again, you can get it on Paramount. You also rent it on, you just rent it as well. I agree with that. What's a shame is I think his first film, too, was a Western. This was a Western.
Oh, really?
He wanted the Criterion Closet, and, he's plucking out Stagecoach and Red River because he was hot on them, especially because he's doing so much research with making the film.
Yeah.
So I do think he's going to go at it for a third time of film. I don't know if it's going to be a Western. I would love it to. Like, give this guy, let him go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would like to see really what he can do with a larger story and more money at his disposal. One thing I kind of characterize one of these films and period piece films of a little bit, I'm getting a slight mix. I can see where it's in the same family as Vigo starred in it with Ed Helms. Ed Helms directed it. Appaloosa.
Oh, okay. Yeah, going back to like what,
2008 it came out.
Okay.
You watched it, this was years ago. You weren't the biggest fan of it, but I kind of put it in that category. Even something like Train Dreams. Even and that love interest,
yes.
and just again, kind of period piece, not cowboy, but ruggedness. There's even a little bit of the taste of things in that love interest, and that cute kind of playing together, and sickness and whatever. But I kind of like all those other films more than this.
Yes.
But I just state from the beginning too, it's hard to come away hating this. I just don't know if it's for everybody because the boring would set in for some people.
Yes. Yeah.
Being for the characters, being for your two main leads, essentially.
Yeah. I think that's a great example, though, is like where this gets the recommendation is on the romance piece.
66 is pretty good, Vin.
Yeah. Within the romance piece, this is where it was really hitting a stride. And then in itself, the acting performances,
Okay. Wow. Really good. Okay. So 66%. Don't sleep on it. I mean, check it out if you want. The Dead Don't Hurt. Unless you're on Amazon, then it's just Dead Don't Hurt.
Dead Don't Hurt.
They couldn't give a shit to actually care about that. But hey, folks, listen, do not forget that the daily ratings here is completely, we are listener supported. We are producer supported here. So what that means at the daily ratings, you're not going to find a Patreon page for us. You're also not going to find any ad breaks or anything like that. Even when you're on our website, we don't want to do advertising banners and pop-up ads. Nothing like that. We want a good, decent product, a good show, and a good website. But again, us being listener supported, that means we are completely supported by the donations sent in by those of you enjoying what we've got going on here. So that is considered the value for value model. Are you finding what we're doing valuable? Listening to the podcast, using the website? We look at that as value in your pocket. So can you send us some value back in our pocket? That's how we're doing it. The reason why we don't do Patreon is because a lot of that is you're set up for a monthly, or we fix some type of price and you are locked in then monthly, and everyone's on their own finances. And everybody might be enjoying this in a little bit different way. We have people that listen every single week. We have people that listen, that stop by every so often, but they really do like to get Vin's take and us, our banter on a certain type of film. So it's a little bit different value for anybody out there. If you could, please support us. This is a big time dedication every week, and this takes money as well. I said it before, but July is also an expensive month here at the Daily Rating. So your support, your donations that you send in actually go a really, really long way, and it just helps Vin and I just keep going, keep doing this thing. If you would, go to thedailyratings.com and go to the donations tab. It's on the main page right there if you're on mobile, and it's up on the top side if you're on like desktop or whatever like that. But click on that donations page, and everything's laid out there. There are some set donations like Buy Vin a Movie Ticket, Gump Club, and Space Odyssey donation, but the big value for value button is right there as well. And it's whatever amount of value you feel like you're getting. With everybody being on their own finances, if $100 is, hey, you got $100 to spare this week, we can't tell you how much we would greatly appreciate that. But also, are we worth a cup of coffee? Are we worth $5 or $10? Are we worth $5 or $10 every month? Well, that's up to you to decide. But if you are listening, and if you're having a good time hanging out with us week after week, please just do keep in mind. So stop at that donations page on thedailyratings.com. It's how we're supported. When you do support us, you're an actual producer of the Daily Ratings as well. In this producer thanks segment right here, if you want to send in a producer note, we'll read it, we'll address it here and talk about what you have to say. If you have questions for us, comments, you have critiques, a little bit of praise, or even a little bit of hate, we want to bring you into the conversation. That's what being a producer is all about. So when you do donate in, send us an email at tom.vin@thedailyratings.com. That's our email address, and say whatever you want to. If you want to be anonymous, just say keep me anonymous, and of course, we'll honor that. So that's how we're doing it here on the Daily Ratings. It is value for value, and please do stop by thedailyratings.com. Go to that donations page. All right, Vincent Daly, let's head on into the theaters. This is Evil Dead Burn. First, before we really jump in, what was your temperature walking in here? Were you excited for
Burning,
it? Coming off of Evil Dead Rise, which you were hot on.
Yeah.
Were your any excitement?
Yeah, excitement is a good word. Expectations, none. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because and I'll talk about it. Actually, perfect example, folks. Listen to our Evil Dead Rise review. That's a case where it's like the franchise didn't really work for me up until that point,
right,
and
well,
Evil
true.
Dead Rise is just like the perfect mix of everything I want out of the series so far.
Okay, yeah. That was done by Lee Cronin. By the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, he's producing here.
Yeah. There's a bit here where it's like, well, where's this going to land? I don't know. And yeah, I don't know. It was just kind of like, I'm very frustrated with this movie. I can't hold it. I can't,
all right, go for it. Go into it. Evil Dead
It's a
Burn.
very unfocused movie.
When did Evil Dead Rise come out? That was 2023?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here we are 6 years later.
Well, yeah, that's what we were watching Evil Dead Rise instead of The Dead Don't Hurt.
Right. Yeah. Hour and 50 minutes. Take it away, Evil Dead Burn.
Well, Evil Dead Rise, a personal favorite of mine from 2023, mostly for how, again, it hits the right balance of scary, silly, and crazy. The Evil Dead franchise can really kind of be seen as fluctuating between these 3 points. And honestly, the series rarely works for me because of how wacky things get. Rise fitting into that sweet spot of just like enough comedy, just enough craziness, and enough of a scare, you know. But now that Lee Cronin has gone on to make one of the worst movies in a golden year for horror, The Mummy was... Like, I still haven't forgotten how bad that movie was. Sam Raimi and team have handed the reins to yet another startup director, Sebastian Vennick, to give their spin on that balancing act for this 6th film. Evil Dead Burn mostly lands close towards the 2013 reboot by Fede Alvarez, where its primary goals are shocking scares that kind of mixes in heavier themes, in this case, abuse, trauma, and even just family bullshit that accents the actual scares to it. It also leads me to my first hot take. This should have been called Evil Dead Pain instead of Evil Dead Burn. Stylistically, there are like 2 scenes with flames.
Okay.
There's like 90% of the movie is about pain and trauma and whatnot. It should have been called Evil Dead Pain. So the fire theme isn't, really doing anything.
I believe this one. I think that this first cut got like an NG-17 rating or something like that because of the gore. So they had to even like dial it back as well. Yeah. As far as some of the gore going on,
there are some scenes, and it's one of my last notes, but around like the audience reaction to this.
Oh yeah,
because it was really packed.
I'm sure it was.
There are some scenes of animal violence that you can tell are very much cut away from.
Gotcha.
That are intense on screen, not even seeing. I couldn't even imagine what was in that original cut. So, and I bring that up almost like. I don't really. I'm not even gonna say I don't care about animal violence. We'll track that one back.
Yeah, all right, Michael Vick over here.
Yeah, for real. I know it is a lot touchier for other people. Like
sure.
I've heard people be triggered by Guardians of the Galaxy 3 because of like the animal cruelty in that. So, so yeah, there's a degree there of just like this kind of deserves a little bit of a trigger warning, even with the whole punch of the edit that we got in theaters.
Wow. Okay.
So
yeah, I've never seen Guardians of the Galaxy 2 or 3.
Or 3. It's a good episode. We did a good episode in the garden. I'm proud of that episode. We've mainly follow Alice, a French transplant in the States after getting married to her husband Will, and kind of introduced into a nutty family with dark connections to the Necronomicon. The family that is already a mess only gets messier after a sudden death of her husband, leaving her in more of an outsider position than ever before. While attending an already beyond awkward funeral, the night turns for the psychotic when evil is invited into their home, diabolically transforming members of the family into chaotic versions of themselves. But this is no coincidence why the Deadites have possessed their home, as a mysterious MacGuffin dagger holds the secrets to their grandfather's involvement with the Book of the Dead. Let me just say that I didn't really have a lot of expectations going into this. Mm-hmm. However, I did expect a little more substance around the lore of Raimi's team kind of planning to grow the story. We ended last week's episode with it of just like, I guess we're going to get some answers around this third Necronomicon. Stuff that was set up in Rise and even a little bit in that 2013 Evil Dead. Boy,
they really dropped the ball?
Really nothing. Really, like, not the focus. And then when they decide to flip on the focus, it's so horrible. It's this MacGuffin dagger that is just, like, the worst thing I've ever heard.
Well, it's interesting just as much as you said Sam Raimi would like others and other young directors specifically to kind of take the reins up, he's still executive producing here.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's still very involved.
Which is where I look at this film and I say, wow, I maybe would have liked some more guardrails put for it. Maybe he was just a little bit too hands-off with it. The fact that the story has maybe 2 plot points around this at most it's kind of a waste of time if you're looking for like substance in this lore, development.
If you're into it. If
you're looking for the developing world of why we're getting more Evil Dead movies after 20 plus years. Not to mention them being insulting. This is an insulting introduction of this mystical dagger thrown into the story. Literally out of nowhere, they're like, "And the dagger of Kazakhstan." And it's just like, what are you talking about? It's so bad. I also think while Alyssa Sutherland, daily ratings winner.
Yeah.
Tom Daly's winner.
Yep, TDAs.
She's left big shoes to fill for the performance. I do think we got some halfway decent roles out of the dad and the grandmother in this, and that kind of craziness. But folks, I don't have much more praise other than that, because this movie was messy, unfocused, and kind of like missed its mark in a very critical way for like why the series is even worth having another movie for.
Wow.
And what defines its style. I'm just going to kind of rapid fire some of these issues. I know you didn't watch, Tom, so I'll try to get through these as fast as possible. But I think even you... Wait, did you ever check out Rise?
No.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I mean,
No, it's all right. I want the truth. No. the pregnant pause to that. No. Well... Yeah, and you've never watched any of the other Evil Deads. Well, listen, I think...
Well, for just...
I think you
talking to the people at home in the cars. Don't worry about me.
you could spot what's like critically wrong with this.
Oh, I'm sure I could.
It's a laundry list of things. I think the editing was one of the worst qualities here. Very choppy, and just truly became annoying as the movie went on. A real lesson in less is more. Connected to this are action scenes. Now, folks, of course, this isn't an action movie. But many scenes play out with an action focus, with an action language on screen, and it just looks rough. The main issue around this are the possessing Deadites themselves, which kind of became a bigger and bigger issue the longer I stewed on it. No joke, the Deadites just get to scrapping in this. We're just like throwing hands. There's like wrestling. There's like there are just countless scenes of fights, like straight up fights. Like this is the UFC card. Like you're disappointed with Conor McGregor, you just watch Evil Dead Burn. You're gonna get more fights per moment on screen. And I'm talking like actual fist fights. First of all, there's something stylistically that feels very off about that.
Yeah.
It's not like these scenes weren't intense, but I also wouldn't call these fight scenes scary or horror themed either. Second, they look bad because of the editing. And third, I'm sorry, this just didn't feel like Evil Dead at all. This is what I mean, like kind of missed the point of the series. Like what was Raimi signing off on? Having our characters throw down, throw down with these Deadites, it falls short because we're constantly reminded the Deadites that what makes the monster, the DNA of the monster, to do a callback, they're immune to pain. They're immune. They want.
Oh, that's like a thing. That's like a known thing.
Exactly. They're possessed. They have no, they have full control over the body, but it's like they don't care about the body they're possessing. I don't think there's ever been a time they've even reversed the possession of the Deadites, that a person survives afterwards. So these wrestling scenes make very little sense stylistically, and more importantly, we're not scary. Like fundamentally, they're not scary.
So it was just stupid. So you're literally sitting there watching, like, what the hell is this?
And I'll say it in a second. The thing I kept on returning to in my head was like, this movie's like kind of bad. Like, what's going on? Like, this is bad in a way that like is in a whole new direction for the franchise. This just kind of misses the mark for what it's going.
It's crazy, and Lee Cronin is executive producing. Yeah. And Bruce Campbell is executive producing, and then Sam Raimi straight producing it.
Phenomenal.
It's interesting. They
you think you have your team straight, but
but
no.
They let this young gun fly, I guess, in a terrible way. That sounds silly. Is it going for a shock factor? Because it wasn't the original, like Bruce Campbell's taking a chainsaw and it's like all ridiculous and it's mayhem.
Most of Evil Dead 2 is what you're looking for, but like absolutely, it is mayhem. It is chaotic.
So it's like, what do we do now? Let's have them brawl.
Yeah, they're just like straight up fighting. I don't know. Fundamentally not scary. The writing is not far behind this, really being a weak point to me. The story tries to play it coy with the ties to the series lore, but then out of nowhere again drops these like lines like the dagger of Kandrazan or some shit like that. I'm just like, no, this wasn't the focus, so please don't try, don't try at the 11th hour of this. I mean, really, when they say, I think someone possessed says it, and I could not control the sigh that comes out of me. Like, it was just like some seriously lame shit to throw into this. At the first half, there's also a lot of attempts at comedy, which that I feel like is way more on point for the series than the direction the horror goes in. But once again, feels like, not like the Brand type of comedy. Here there are just like these awkward slapstick moments that fall really flat. And in some ways, it made me think that this was trying to go for like maybe a self-aware B-movie spin. But
that's
honestly,
difficult to do. Yeah,
that's difficult to land. And honestly, this was just so extremely unfocused that even in that self-awareness, it wasn't the main it wasn't the main like column of like what was trying to hold this movie up. Confusing at times. I was just like, what is going on here? Folks, all of this is summed up to an experience where I kept on saying in my head, is this movie kind of bad? Like I was in disbelief on this one. Like, how the hell do you fuck up the amazing course correction that Rise did for the series? And I really mean those words, course correction, where it understood the three-way balancing act of scary, crazy, and funny.
And that's not just you saying that. Correct me if I'm wrong. Rise was pretty well liked.
It's gone down over the years. But on release, was
you were not the odd man out.
No. No. I honestly don't know why it's gone down, but I also don't align myself at all with Evil Dead fans.
Right, for sure.
Because I'm definitely...
You've made that distinction.
Yeah, unfortunately, lukewarm, a lot of the franchise. This is a case where it's like, I don't know, I'm about to throw out a hot take here. It's kind of like Star Wars, where it's like, how many really good movies are there?
Well, it's a real conversation.
Yeah, you know what I mean? How many are these like really, truly great? But this was a super packed theater. And I'll admit, the movie got some big gasps out the crowd. I feel like that maybe is important to note because, like I said earlier, there is some crazy animal violence in this that just didn't feel great, even to me. Also, a very visceral reaction this crowd had to this movie. This was a fun time at the theaters for some people. So, not me. But for some people. The words I was really walking away with on this one, though, was weak and unfocused. I hate to say it, but this new director for each entry approach is, I think, a total misstep. This needs to be abandoned. If we are going to get, 2 more Evil Dead movies? I don't even know what's in the plans.
Well, I know you said this was supposed to be 3, right? Rise, Burn, and...
Yeah, something else.
Okay. Now, let me paint you a picture where this totally makes sense to me and could be awesome. Okay, Rise was good, right? Yeah. And now you have Sam Raimi still having controls. Yeah. Or still in the reins for sure.
Right, it's his franchise.
So what if you just had some sort of seriousness to it and like, okay, let's make this a great... where horror's being thrown out constantly. Sometimes it hits so well. Yeah. You never know with horror, but like it's a loved genre right now. It's having a moment. Let's make this the genre that people can care about. You've got Sam Raimi, who's the guy, right? Bruce Campbell, who everybody loves, who likes this franchise. Yep. Lee Cronin, sure, throw his name in there. And you get this crew of producing. Yeah. They have a death grip on it, like a Barbara Broccoli on 007. And then they just bring in a new guy. But it's like you put love and care into it. And they, everybody's... So it's like, we love bringing in the love guns. But don't worry. We're the people that know... These movies are still here. I think you need to have a Broccoli.
I'd be interested to hear Sam Raimi's reaction
type thing. I bet he would appreciate what I'm saying right now.
Broccoli.
Well, it's only nothing but a compliment.
You're saying it in a positive way that even though 1 or 2 may shake out as bad, there's still a creative guidance there.
Yeah, and most of the time, directorially, they're good. Most of the vast majority of them in Broccoli's tenure.
Oh, right. Well, we're dipping over to the James.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I don't think that's the case.
Oh no, no.
Yeah, these are definitely all floated B movie territory.
I just like that. I like having we have the main setup here behind the lens. Let's give it to a young gun.
A type of curation.
Okay, there. That's all I'm trying to say for the past 5 minutes. Exactly.
I think it's a good point. I think that's definitely where Raimi's head is at, and also in a kind of a charitable way of like wanting to give his franchise to the next generation of directors.
Yeah.
I think they got to pull the cord on this strategy.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Especially Raimi's return to the theaters. I would love nothing more than this third entry
that would be cool.
To be Raimi directly. I need it to be reversed. I need this this lore building. If we're gonna make like more of a franchise with meat,
have J.J. Abrams come in and retcon everything.
Yeah.
I mean, just totally
we
make
need a
it-
Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, where it's just like a barrage of everything you
fix
love, and you're just like, I don't know if I like this movie or not. But yeah, I mean, if we are going to get another Evil Dead out of this that is like this quality, or like I said, like the 2013 Evil Dead reboot that was failed as well, personally, I think the series could use another dirt nap for a couple decades. We're gonna go ahead and give Evil Dead Burn a 41.
Ooh, boy, 41%.
Real stinky.
And a real drop down, too, because Evil Dead Rise got a 79.
Yeah.
So that just says it all there, really.
Absolutely. I did not have a chance to fit it in this week. I do want to rewatch Evil Dead Rise.
Yeah, okay.
Just because this one, again, kind of made me question of just like, am I crazy? Like, why is this so bad?
I'm sure you're not crazy. No.
Yeah, like, why is
I don't
this
think
so
the buzz
bad?
on it is so hot. It didn't have a huge opening weekend. There was a lot going on this weekend, too, to be honest about it. It actually,
Moana live action.
Well, yeah, Moana, and then you had The Invite.
Oh,
which,
right.
Which is so personally, I'm kind of curious to that.
Okay.
That might be a 2-shoe roundup at the end of the year for the
I'm
Tom
fine with
Dailies.
that.
But you just look at the kind of somewhat 3 releases this week. You have the kids taken care of with Moana.
Yep.
You've got the Gen Z young millennials taken care of with Evil Dead Burn. And
I
then you've
guess,
got a
yeah.
pretty good older millennial Gen X thing going on with The Invite.
Yeah.
So it was like a very strategically done, but a lot was eating others, especially because you have Toy Story and Minions still playing in there
Yeah.
as well. Like, it's just a busy week.
Exactly.
We have a lot of stuff out.
It's very much the case that we run into with summertime, where it's like there's big releases, but then there's runway for those big releases.
Right.
You
So
know
I
what
just
mean?
don't, and that's Evil Dead Burn, unfortunately, box office wise, is going to take a little bit of a hit because of all this.
Yeah.
You know, and Odyssey coming up and all that. But
I'll tell you with The Invite, the only reason why I didn't want to cover it,
Olivia Wilde.
I was straight up. Wow, you read my mind.
Well, of course, I feel the same way.
She is getting annoying, and I
She's been
usually don't
annoying.
let things affect me like that. You know, separation of like art and artist and yada
Yeah,
yada.
but
like her press circuit has been
just
extremely annoying.
just this time around.
Yeah, well, at least just for The Invite. I think she has another movie coming out in August. She's not directing; it's just like her. She's in it.
Yes, she's in it. It's
So I
getting
think
some
that's
good. It's being talked about a little bit already.
yeah.
Olivia, now ever since what was that? Don't Worry, Darling.
Yes.
I it's just her actions behind the lens was just very off-putting, and
Yeah.
the way she handled it professionally, I thought was just terrible. And after that was just she was annoyed me a little bit.
Yeah, it's a
I
shame.
didn't even hate that movie. I actually might even liked it a little bit more than you.
Yeah, right.
But I have interest because one, look at the cast that's in it, and how do they make a full film out of what we're going for here?
The Invite you're talking
Correct.
about.
Yeah,
Got it,
yeah.
got it.
But regardless, for the birds, as you would say, that's a 41% for Evil Dead Burn. Anything you want to add to this week? Highlight? What a
No,
weird week this was.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was a weird week. That's what I was like. You hit me with like alternate titles. I go, I don't know. It's unfocused.
well, we couldn't get more focus for next week, folks.
Yeah, exactly.
It is going to be a Chris Nolan week. Should we save what we're covering, or
Oh, absolutely.
okay?
Yeah.
You don't want to let the people know?
Yeah, absolutely.
You just said absolutely to both my questions.
Oh no, I want people to know.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
I didn't know they were different questions.
Well, I said, should we save it? Like, should we not
should
tell
we
people?
save
Yes,
it? Okay, got it. So obviously there is going to be another Nolan movie down the road. So it kind of became a game of like, what do we
now?
save? What do we do now?
Yeah.
You know, yada yada. I'm really happy with this list because I just genuinely want to watch all 3 of these movies. We're doing Memento from 2000.
Yep.
We're doing Inception 2010, and we're doing Tenet from 2020. Kind of the decades,
Woo!
the
I mean,
decade approach to
I
it.
adore it. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
We already covered. We already covered Following.
Yes, following Oppenheimer, and I think that's actually it.
That's
as
it.
far as like on the podcast.
Yeah, I think we've been keeping them in the holster a little bit, keeping
Yeah.
our powder dry with Nolan.
Yeah.
And we're going to release it next week. I can't wait. And I love covering. Going back early, you're right, with Memento.
Yep.
Inception solidified him of who he is.
Oh, for sure.
Well, actually, that Inception was 2010. Okay, so Dark Knight was 08.
Yeah, but the hype
The
for
hype is real.
Inception, yeah,
The hype is real
I
here.
crystallized.
Peak
yeah.
Leo as well, 2010.
Absolutely.
And then Tenet too. Oof, I can't wait to cover it.
I'll be
I
honest. We'll talk about it plenty in the review.
Yeah.
Tenet is a one that I need to correct a little bit because I haven't watched it since, but
I need to correct it. I need to understand my thoughts on it. I think
I need to understand the
I
film.
think the vast majority who've seen this 4 times still need to watch it again to get a better idea of this movie.
the best was this came out obviously in COVID, and Tenet was the first movie I watched that came out period. I think wasn't this the whole push of like he's going to save the movie theater? You know, with
well, he was trying to, and it's also like Nolan cared. Like, I do not want my film watching on TVs.
Right. Well, against Nolan's best wishes, I watched that in a drive-in theater, and
that's just terrible.
Talk about the worst choice.
Oh my gosh.
The worst choice for comprehension of what Tenet is about.
Oh my god. I mean, I would rather. I can't tell you the amount of things. It was a
family watch too. Everyone had questions. You know,
I would never ever do a thing like that. I mean, I've never in my life been to a drive-in movie theater.
Yeah, right.
It's so antithetical to my beliefs. Yeah.
What you want out of it.
I can't believe that, Finn.
Yeah. So I did watch it again a second time. So the score on the site is not the drive-in watch because I don't think I understood anything. But I am curious to kind of go back to it because I remember
there's a lot to talk about with that film.
Yeah, there's things I love about that movie, but I get that the story is kind of nonsense.
Well, and there's so much chatter on his decision on this and that, and the audio, and it'd be great to just sink our teeth into it. I can't wait for next week. Really, really pumped for it, and I think everybody at home is going to enjoy it too, so please do stop in next week. But for this week, we'll run it down here one more time. Well, first, Vin, thank you so much for watching these films, for these great reviews, and stopping by here this evening, and we'll run it down one more time. We've got Rio Lobo with a 51%, The Dead Don't Hurt with a pretty good 66%, and Evil Dead Burn with a 41%. As always, it's a blast week after week, folks. I'll be back here on Tuesday for the new show, and for Nolan, we'll have Vincent Daly back in the chair next Thursday on the Daily Ratings Podcast. And hey, if you enjoyed the podcast, if you would, give us a good rating or get the word out and tell a friend about us. And just a reminder that the Daily Ratings is completely producer supported. We want to stay away from advertising, and we don't want to have any paywalls or tier structures or subscriptions. It's all just value for value. So, are you finding value in what we're doing here at the Daily Ratings? Then become a producer and donate whatever amount of value that is. Just go to the donations tab on thedailyratings.com, and while you're there, be sure to check out the massive amount of films that Vince has rated. So thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you next time on the Daily Ratings Podcast.